In a prosperous region, a man of means lived with his two sons.
The elder son worked the fields from morning until the light failed. The younger son sat at the estate's edge, watching the distant road. Travelers passed on the road, and he watched every one of them. The father had been watching his younger son watch the road. The day ended. The younger son had not moved from his wall. The estate was everything it should be, and he wanted none of it. One morning, the younger son came to his father with his request. The estate was divided. What had been whole was now in two parts. The elder son watched from across the courtyard and said nothing.
The inheritance passed from the father's hands to his sons.
He had what he asked for. The feeling was not what he expected. The estate stood as it always had. Something in it had broken anyway. He looked at the room once. Then he picked up his bundle and left it. The father was waiting in the courtyard when his son came out. His face held everything a father feels when he cannot make a son stay. They embraced. The son held on less than the father did. The son walked toward the gate. The father did not follow him.
He passed through the gate and onto the road without looking back.
The road ahead was long. He did not know yet what it would cost him.
He arrived with money and the intoxicating feeling of total freedom.
He laughed easily. He had never had so many friends. Alone for a moment, he counted what remained and felt the first chill.
And then a famine came over that land, and everything changed. When the money thinned, the companions began to find other tables.
He ended up feeding pigs in a field outside the far country town.
True strength is not measured by the loudest voice, but by the kindness held in the heart.
He was hungry enough to want what the pigs were eating.
At the end of the day, he sat alone in the empty field.
And then, quietly, he began to think about his father's house. He thought of the servants at his father's estate, eating well tonight. He said to himself, "Even my father's servants have bread enough to spare." He left the pig field before sunrise and started the long walk home.
His sandals were falling apart by the time the land grew familiar.
And then, far ahead, he saw the olive groves of his father's estate.
Seeing it broke something open in him that the journey had held closed. He kept walking, his speech rehearsed, his shame completely real. The gate was visible ahead. He was still a long way off. He had come all this way. The last steps were the hardest ones.
The father had been watching that road every day since his son left. Every figure on that road had made his heart briefly stop. He had looked at this road until the looking had become its own prayer. And then one afternoon, something about a figure on the road changed everything.
He knew him. Even from that distance, even in those rags, he knew him.
He ran. A man of his age and dignity ran down the road.
The father reached him and held him before the son could say a word.
He had rehearsed a speech. He could not say a single word of it.
On an ordinary road, a father held his lost son and would not let go.
Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you.
Mighten.
Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer
Listened.
He finished. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.
He told them, "Bring the best robe, a ring, sandals, and kill the fatted calf."
The robe was placed around his shoulders before he could object. A ring on his finger. Sandals on his feet. The son restored.
Welcome home, my son. Everything is prepared just for you.
And the celebration began, full and unguarded, as the evening came in.
The elder son was still in the fields when the music began.
He stopped on the path and listened. The estate was celebrating something. He called a servant at the gate and asked what was happening. His brother had come home. His father was celebrating. He would not go in.
He stood outside the gate while the celebration continued without him. The father noticed. He left the feast and went out to his elder son.
All these years I've slaved for you and never disobeyed. But when this son of yours comes back, you celebrate.
The father did not defend himself. He listened to every word. He said, "Son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. Your brother was dead and is alive. He was lost and is found."
Inside, the feast continued. The father's house was full again.
He knew his brother was outside. The joy was not simple anymore.
Look at the lights, my son. He has truly returned home.
I am glad he is safe, Father, but I do not understand the feast. The morning after, the father was at the gate again, watching the road. He was still watching the road. He would always be watching the road. Subscribe to see more.